This episode of the Block Pass is brought to you by Black Diamond MX, premier sponsor of Hardline MX, specializing in premium graphics for motocross, snowcross, and much more. Check them out on blackdiamondmx.com. Look good, ride good. Hello, this is Matt Williamson, MXMatt from Hardline MX, bringing you a special edition of the Block Pass, Spring Creek National 2016. For those of you that haven't been living in a cave for the past couple of weeks, you probably realize that this Pro National was a special tribute to Prince, an artist from Minnesota who passed away earlier this year and quite honestly left a big legacy in the local music scene as well as the local counterculture within the area. This is an awesome example of the fellowship that this musician had with the artist Graham Holt. I had to look at this again, flying up from New Zealand, spending hours of his own time coming up here, working in the hot sun and getting this awesome mural painted. This mural is actually about 2 miles east of Paisley Park, the studio which Prince ran and unfortunately passed away at earlier this year. So how did Spring Creek do a tribute to Prince? Greta Martin had ordered some special guitars that were intended to be purple and play tribute to Prince and really bring some local flavor to the race. Unfortunately, the ones that she received didn't quite meet her expectations, so she had to kind of search out to find a good solution to resolve that. Well, she happened to have two at the track that she employs for the summertime. Mike Janowski, who is one of the track workers that helps out with race days, as well as Guy Olin, the announcer at Spring Creek, the voice of Spring Creek, if you want to call it that, who both have a pretty good experience with regards to paints. One's a painting instructor, the other one restores hot rods and does custom bikes, so it was a good combination. What they ended up doing was involving Guy Olin's son, Brett, which was basically a very key role in getting the paint work done and the finishing work, who also contacted his friends to do some special airbrush work and make the Prince guitars basically the best trophies that you're going to see 2016. Two of our riders that we have known locally for quite a while, Henry Miller as well as Zack Williams. No better way to kind of find out what happened on the track and how these guys did than to just jump into it. So here's Henry Miller with his take on the Spring Creek Pro National 2016. All right, so we are here at Spring Creek with Henry Miller. Your best finish so far. How did that go today?
18th as the best one this year. It was nice being at the home track. There's a few more guys there in front of me I wish I could have got, but time ran out. It happens. It was definitely a good day. Can't complain. Healthy, walking away, bike's running great. Just everything kind of came together today.
So overall, a little bit of track change today. Some of the guys, and you don't have to be the first person to say this, but Jeremy and Alex and a couple of the other guys said the track was probably a little overwatered this morning. Did that really affect the kind of start, or was it just kind of a nice equalizer for everybody to kind of ease into, not really ease into, but jump into the day's racing?
It was definitely overwatered. There was standing water, there was sloshy mud. I think it created a track that almost came around. It was one line, at least 50% of the corners, so it definitely made it tough, but it made it, the guys that are a little disadvantaged with power, I think it helped them to compared to the factory guys. So
right.
It was a good day. The track came around, it got rough, still a little muddy out there in some spots, but it was a good day.
So overall, growing up in the amateurs out here, you would be the B-class rider that would catch up with the A-class riders. You were used to just basically dominating. How do you take the stress now so well when you're out there with really fast guys and not that guy anymore? You're definitely gaining speed, you're smooth and everything, but how is that juxtaposition, how does that change? How is it not impacting you more?
It definitely is an impact because you're not out front, you're not staying clean, you're chasing the next guy. There's always that other guy in front of you. For me, it's a good motivation though that, I'm getting beat, I am, but it's a good motivation to have the guy in front of you, and if you can see him, you can get him. So just keep pushing and keep charging, and some people fade, so it's definitely different, but it's a good different. It's gonna definitely help me in the long run, so I like it.
I think that's a big thing that your fans are going to like too, because you have people out there, as you said, cheering on the side of the track. A lot of these are little guys, like Cameron Scudder, who looks up to you and stuff like that. He's not always out front, but hearing that from someone like you that he looks up to, it's like if you see the guy in front of you, you know you can chase him down. So can you tell us a little bit about like who's helping you out and how that came about?
Triggr Racing, a guy from Hayward, Wisconsin, Chas Cadillac. He owns his own business, and he loves the sport and he loves the help. He approached me with 2 Supercrosses ago and knew I didn't have anything for outdoors, and he's like, oh, well, let's get something together here real quick. And we kind of just started. He got bikes, he got them to me. I started riding right away. We scrammed for extra support from sponsors, and some people just started, they just jumped on board, even though they didn't have much to give, but they gave everything they could. And I really appreciate everyone that supports me, stands behind me, sponsors me. Just everyone's been amazing throughout Supercross and Motocross. It's been a good year this year for a rookie year. I mean, can't complain. I'm walking, talking, bikes running. I mean, it's been a good time so far.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, I have to say, you just did an interview with Chase Elko with Dirt Bike Mag. One of the things I have to agree with, privateers are definitely more approachable, but I think as kind of a surprise, just some of the fast guys here necessarily weren't the nicest, but you always were pretty approachable for little kids coming up and talking to you, give autographs even here and now, and that. I think that's a big thing why sponsors want to keep people like you and stuff like that. So keep that up and keep the success rolling. But I know you were asked in the other interview, but this is my interview. What is your goals for the rest of the year, and are you? I was going to stop there as a different question, so we'll stop there. What are your goals for this year?
Definitely to keep it within the top 20 here the rest of the year, and we really like to break into the top 15 through it. I mean, after Millville here, we go to Washougal, and I definitely like to break in the top 15 there and keep that flowing through the rest of the year. And the Supercross, that'd be really, really good momentum for me.
Well, good job today. I know it wasn't where you wanted to be in the finish, being your home track, but it was your best finish, so that's a good thing there, even with all the changes. So
definitely, definitely felt the most comfortable here, and my parents, they support me 100%, and they've never not supported me. They try to make it to all the races they can, and they do the best they can to keep helping me as much as possible. I really appreciate it.
Well, awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's always good seeing you, and it's going to suck I can't go to Washington, but we'll catch you in Indiana. So that was some good feedback from Henry. I've known this kid. Well, I've known of this kid since he was on 50s, little guy. You wouldn't even see him on camera if he's standing next to me. Probably got my first pictures of him at a Rochester Supercross or Fair Bowl or something like that when he was on 65s, a Pellini 65, I think. Maybe it was a 50. I have to look a little bit more closely on that, but he's come a long way. He's went from being a dominant B rider, now moved up to A, and now has got his pro card and doing pretty well. As you just heard, his best finish. Now let's talk to Zack Williams, a rider we've known for a while, has a Loretta Lynn's championship under his belt, done Supercross, and now is with 10Com Motorsports, and let's hear how his take of the day was. All right, Matt Williamson with Harlan MX and 10Com Motorsports, Zack Williams with a report from Millville. How did your day go here, and was this a good finish for you?
It was actually a really good finish. The day went well. It's one of my first races in a long time that I'm actually kind of proud of. So I've always been really bad at starts at these races, and I actually came close to hole shotting both 450 motos on a stock 450, so it's pretty cool. Qualifying was decent, and I actually got points both motos, and I haven't gotten points at all this year, so it's been a really struggle of a year, and this was a good way to get the ball rolling.
All right, for instance, for today, you were out there but chasing down number 7 for a while. How the heck did that feel? I mean, that's got to be a good thing on the bucket list too.
It was cool. It would have been cool to pass him. Obviously, it's not James Stewart as the best, but just to say you passed James Stewart would be kind of cool. But obviously, he was tired, and I was getting worn out too. But he was definitely dropping the anchor. And as soon as I got behind him, he looked back and he seen it was me. He just pulled it off the track. So I'm not one to judge. It's hard out there. So hopefully he can get back to his normal speed soon.
What did you feel with the track changes? They changed up, put a little section before the catapult. The catapult's kind of gone now.
I think it was good. It kind of slowed up the track a little bit. The track wasn't as wide open. They had a lot of scrub jumps. And, you know, I feel like the only hometown advantage we have at these races is the fans, because like the track is 100% different than any local race you'll get here. So, yeah, just everybody cheering you on and just being close to home is kind of like a good, comfortable feeling. So that's like the only advantage. But yeah, the track was good today. It was a little wet in the morning, but it turned out to be a really good racetrack and really rough. So that's what we like.
So, the same regard as Henry, today was his best finish ever. He's overcome, like you have this season, overcome a lot of, difficulties in the season that could have just set you down and decided, oh, I'm done racing. Seeing you this year or seeing you this moto, it's like, wow, Z Willis is back. We can put that tag back on.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a really rough series, and even like last year was kind of rough. I feel like fitness has always been my strong point, and I feel like I've been working harder and harder, but for some reason I'm just getting exhausted, and maybe it's something wrong with my body. I don't know, I gotta figure things out. And yeah, this year just kind of struggling on that Yamaha 450, but starting to get the hang of it. Boland's has been really helping me out with the suspension and getting it dialed in, and Ken's been helping me out with some extra parts here and there and race gas, and things are just starting to come together, and I think it's just going to keep getting better and better with the team and with the bike and myself.
Well, that's cool. I know a lot of kids look up to you. And one last thing, did you even know that Bowers was behind you at all?
Yeah, I was starting to get pretty worn out at the end. I feel like the track was so rough, it was just kind of beat me up. And I seen Bowers there, and I knew I just had to beat him. So I didn't want to lose any more spots than I already lost. I feel like I would have done a lot better if I would have just had a little more energy in me at the end, but I held off Bowers, doing it on a stock bike. He's on a factory bike, so I guess it's kind of rewarding.
We're all really proud of you, and thanks again for spending time with us. Nice shirt, by the way. CAMX hook you up too.
Oh yeah, they do all the the pit shirts for the team, and they do good work, and they're actually only like 20 minutes away from where I live. So
yeah, good.
Yeah,
They're
good company.
Hook us both up. So all right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck at Washougal, and we'll catch you at hopefully the next round I can make to. So
thanks, but actually no
right.
Washougal for me.
You got a little family trip you're doing. So.
Yeah, going to Colorado, so we're gonna have some fun. I've been planning that for a little while.
Is your dad gonna dust off the family truckster and put you all in that, or?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna do a little fishing, a little hunting, and it's gonna be fun.
Nice.
But yeah, I wasn't planning on going to Washougal. It's such a drive for us. And so I'll be at the last three for sure. And
Awesome.
I'll come out swinging.
Awesome, Matt. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Transitioning from the Pro National, we're going to move on to the Pro Track Challenge, and for that, we've changed locations to Paisley Park, which is a little bit up the road from where the mural is located. We took a close look at a couple of the riders. Casey Pater, who's a rider that is more known for doing hill climbs in his past, transitioning to motocross and moving into a pretty competitive class of C riders, but making a name for himself. Let's take a look and see how his weekend went. Pro Track Challenge for the Spring Creek 2016 Pro National. Here with Casey Pater. Casey, what classes did you run today?
250C and Open C.
All right, Casey. So tell us a little bit about your first moto there. That was probably the most struggling you had to do as far as track conditions. Where'd you end up with the whole shot? And I guess what was the hardest part of the track at that point in time?
I ended up almost last in the whole shot, and I'm gonna say probably the hardest part of the track was straightaways and the whoops. They were pretty, like, almost water, like going through a river.
So you can't blame the Martins for overriding the track this time. God had a hand at that. But take us into your second moto. Sorry, your second class first moto. How much did the track conditions change between then?
It changed big time. It was it got like dried out pretty well and able to get a win off that.
So what's your secret for going so fast through the whoops? Because that looked like where you're pulling on a lot of the guys, to be quite frank, there and the corners. You wouldn't expect a hill climb guy to be really good in whoops, or maybe in uphill whoops, but corners, I wouldn't expect that.
Jay McGrath helped me a lot with that, and I got a track in my house, and we got some whoops, and they're really close together, and they're pretty rough, so when you come to tracks like this that are like groomed perfect, you can pretty much just go right through them.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what class, or what sport were you involved in before you came to Moto?
I was in hill climbing since I was 3, and then I won everything in there, and I decided to try something different.
Yeah, it sounds like one of the deals that your dad and I were talking about earlier is it's kind of becomes more of a sport of how much money you can put into it as opposed to skills. And got to say, watching you out here, it looks like you definitely have the skills for Moto, even though I was kind of picking on you to maybe change sports. But tell us a little bit about your bike. Sounds like you got a bit of a story with it, how you ended up coming into possession with it. It wasn't the typical way a kid gets a bike, was it?
No, I worked for 2 summers and saved up for a dirt bike. Didn't get a lot of chance to ride those summers. And then I bought this and got a lot of hours in now.
So how do you like the transition to Moto so far? I mean, is it a little bit more enjoyable? I mean, it seems like you get a little bit more seat time per race than you would at a hill climb, but some kids don't transition very well to it. How'd it go for you?
I like it a lot. It's more relaxing and more fun, even though there's not a lot of friends I have yet, but otherwise it's fun.
Well, you'll get the friends for sure. So any other sponsors you want to thank besides yourself for buying the bike?
Courtesy Auto Repair, Nelson Plumbing, Leonard's Excavating, Larson Cycle.
So tell us, what are your goals for the rest of the season here?
Try to get a couple more top 3s and a couple more wins.
So you're hoping to do more of the Super Series race, or do you have other classes or other tracks you're going to try to go to as well?
Mostly the Super Series race to try to maybe get some closer races.
So last question, if they have a regional here next year, do we expect to see you there?
You betcha.
All right, man. No doubt Casey's going to be chasing Loretta Lynn's for 2017, and we hope to follow that path as we get into that season. Now, we also want to talk to another amateur rider in B class that made a transition from the last time we talked to him from small bikes to big bikes. That rider's Gage Fisher, and here's his take on Spring Creek for the Pro Track Challenge. All right, we're here at the 2016 Pro Track Challenge with Gage Fisher here at Millville. What classes were you in today? A little bit of a change from the last time we talked to you a year ago.
Yeah, 14 to 24B, 250B, and Schoolboy 2.
So where the heck have you been? It's been a while since we've seen you here at Spring Creek. I know you were here for a couple rounds earlier in the year, but where was your time away spent?
Well, last year kind of just took a year off from here, and we focused on Loretta's a lot. And this year, doing a lot of Millville. We've missed, I think, 3, but we're planning on finishing the year here.
All right, Gage. So, tell us a little bit about your transition to big bikes. How's that been, and everything that goes along with it? I mean, different competition. Totally different track conditions. It's got to be.
Yeah. It's been a good transition. I like the big bike a lot better. Fits me better. I ride better on a 4-stroke. The competition is definitely harder, and I enjoy it because, it's always good to have somebody pushing you.
So take us into the first moto today. Track conditions weren't ideal. They got about 2 inches of rain here last night. Were you contemplating just not racing today, or was that never crossing your mind?
No, that never really crossed my mind. I like to ride in the mud. I'm pretty good at it. I enjoy it.
So how was that first moto? How was the whole shot and track conditions for you overall?
Well, the whole shot was good. I got it, and the track was pretty one-lined and muddy and sloppy, and there was puddles all over the place, but it was fun.
But it sounds like that's your favorite condition. Maybe not Dad's favorite conditions, but yours overall.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean,
so going into the second motos, track conditions changed quite a bit overall. Where did you find the best flow for yourself? Was it the sand wash or like some of the corners? I saw you rail in the corners, the only little uphill you did because everything else is boxed off. But
I think sand wash was probably my best because I don't know. I found a really good rhythm through there at Dublin. Yeah.
Do you pick up any tricks from the guys on Saturday that were racing, the pros? Like, where were you the most impressed watching them, and that you tried to maybe apply today?
After the finish line, you take the left hand, you go up the hill down to the start straight. How they jump up onto the side of the hill, and that was just really impressive in there, hauling through there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how those guys can find lines that other people don't. And quite honestly, you do that too compared to some of your competition, the way you were taking some of the lines. Like I was saying before, one of the A-riders was coming out of the rut, getting a little bit squirrely and coming way wide, losing a lot of time, where if we were to put timer on you, I would have swore you were probably 2 seconds faster through that one little section. So, not to inflate your ego a little bit too much, but where's the rest of your season going to be spending? Most of the back in Moto, or are you going to disappear again on us?
No. We'll finish the season here, hopefully, but I got football starting and all that stuff, but not done with this yet, that's for sure.
Well, that's good. It's good to have you back, and thanks again with your time with us. And this concludes our 4th interview for the Spring Creek Pro National and Pro Track Challenge for Hardline MX. Thanks, Gage.
Yep, thank you.
It's always nice to catch up with riders we've talked to in the past, and Gage Fisher being one we talked to before Loretta Lynn's of last year. Unfortunately, he's not going this year due to other plans and just not doing qualifiers, but his riding form is right there. Easily could qualify for that, and some of us even thought he could have qualified for the Pro National that was held at Spring Creek. To conclude our episode of the Spring Creek Pro National Prince Tribute, just wanted to close out and say a huge thanks to Greta Martin, all of the workers at Spring Creek for making it a great event, all the riders that took time to talk to us and come out and cheer us on while we're kind of trying to do our filming and whatever else at the pit bike race. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Definitely a great season, and really love the fact that we're able to kind of do the race coverage that you guys like and tell us to cover, and that we could at Hardline MX kind of join in this tribute for Prince by taking you to a couple locations that you might not otherwise see besides big media, and maybe someday we'll be there. But really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you at Loretta Lynn's for our next Block Pass episode.